versus Protestants. The background story of the St. Bartholomew Day was due to the growing discord between the royal family and their Roman Catholicism versus the Protestants, which is becoming more and more prevalent, which they obviously didn't like. The Peace of Saint Germain, signed in 1570, was originally supposed to stop the 3 years of warfare due to religion, primarily between the Catholics and Protestants in France. French Catholics were mostly very opposed to the Peace of Saint Germain, and because of this, many refused to accept it despite appeals from the royal family. French Catholics were very opposed to the idea of the whole Saint Germain peace treaty deal. Catherine de' Medici thought it'd be a good idea for her daughter Margaret to marry Henry, which was a Protestant prince, and due to this, she thought that, long story short, she was evil and a mastermind, and basically she wanted them all to come over to France for the wedding, like where she was in her vicinity, because she had this big giant idea that because all of the Protestant leaders were like, oh yeah, our prince is getting married, this means no more wars. No! Joke's on you, because guess what? She's gonna kill you all. So basically, she lured them to go to the wedding, you know. Woo! But in the end, her whole ideal for the whole wedding was that she could have all the Protestant leaders in one place for her to ultimately kill all of them. Hello and welcome to the St. Bartholomew Massacre interview with the one and only Catherine de' Medici. Catherine, how are you today?
I'm just doing great, and thank you, you believe.
Okay, so let's start with a few questions. How was the massacre to you?
In my opinion, the massacre was a great success. It really was. I got everything I wanted, and it was just a splendid weekend, you know?
Okay, so your son, King Charles, what about him?
He's an idiot, but he listens to me, so I mean, that's alright. He listens. I demanded it, and he gave me it, you know?
Gave you what, exactly?
The souls of the Protestants.
So, Catherine, what happened on that fateful day of August 24th?
Well, on August 24th, 1572, there were large groups of Catholics who assassinated large groups of Protestants. And the next morning, Charles tried to stop them, but with lots and lots of failing attempts.
Why? Why did he want to stop the killing?
Because he just...
Did he feel like it was getting out of control?
He thought it was getting way out of control. He was like, wow, my mom's really crazy. And I listened. He listened, but then he just decided
he had to take it back.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me how you feel about that.
About him stopping?
Yeah.
Trying to stop it? I was angry. I really was. But then I saw the large amounts of Protestants that were killed, and I was kind of pleased by that. But
so why exactly did you want to kill the Protestants? Like, what value do they have to you?
Well, the Protestants didn't follow my Catholic faith, and my whole family honors the whole Catholic religion and all the rules that comes with it, and they didn't want to follow that, and I just figured it wasn't going to work out. It wasn't going to.
Their lives weren't going to work out. So, who was the first person that you were wanting to kill at this time?
The first person I wanted to kill was Admiral Gaspar.
Why?
Because he attempted to lead my son Charles to war in Spain.
Okay. How many Protestants were killed within all of the massacres in France?
There was an estimated 70,000 Protestants in all of France.
Oh man, that's a lot.
That is a lot, isn't it?
How far did the killings reach?
far as in Orleans.
Oh, man. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. See you next week with St. Patrick's Day. Are you having a Protestant problem? Get your anti-Protestant spray. It works on every type of Protestant. She's dead now. Your work is done.
It was 5 days before the massacre. Margaret of France married King Henry III of Navarre. And the marriage was actually arranged by her own mother, Catherine de' Medici. And how this whole thing got started, Catherine thought it would be a great idea to marry her daughter to a Protestant prince. And why she wanted this to happen is that all the Protestant leaders would come to their wedding, and that would be a perfect plan for the whole massacre to begin. So she wanted it to seem like she was cementing the two religions together by Margaret marrying Henry. However, suspicion came about 2 days before the whole entire wedding. Protestant Queen Jeanine III of Navarre died within a few days before the wedding, and suspicion came about that Catherine was already plotting the whole massacre. Some citizens suspected that the Queen received a pair of gloves that were a gift from Catherine de' Medici, and they were poisoned. So right as she took them off, hello, and you are watching the St. Bartholomew's Day special. Today I'm here with a Protestant citizen that has witnessed the massacre with her own very eyes. So how are you today?
Not too good. Recently, there's been a lot of stuff going on, and the massacre was terrible. It was awful.
How do you feel about the whole situation that's happened?
I just think it's really unnecessary. Our faith shouldn't define whether or not we get killed, especially right now. I mean, we're not doing anything, like, we're not really trying to protest. It's just something that those Roman Catholics, always trying to mess stuff up for us Protestants.
And your leaders, where are they now?
Most of them are dead.
So if you could take this one moment, what would you say to Catherine de' Medici if she was here?
I just don't understand why she takes it upon herself to have us killed. I've seen family members dead on the streets. There are mobs everywhere because the Roman Catholics are constantly trying to reach us to kill us, which is unnecessary. It's rude. And, I think this whole situation could be avoided if she didn't feel like her faith was higher than ours. They're very similar if you really look at it. It's just, there are a few things that are different, and I know, Catherine, I know that you just really love the Roman Catholic faith, and us Protestants, we're just here. We're just trying to have a good time. We're out here, But then, mobs. So many mobs.
About your friends. Do you have friends in other places?
Yeah, I get around.
Okay. How are they doing there? How are they holding up?
Well, the massacre on the 24th, when it started, it was going, well, I guess, for higher powers. But the 25th, the 25th, it started spreading. So basically, in a lot of places, the massacre is continuing on. Even it's a higher rate at this point. There are so many people getting killed that believe in the Protestant faith, and I don't know if there's going to be a way to stop it. I think King Charles started something, and I don't know how he's going to finish it.
Well, thank you for coming on this special occasion, and I'm sorry to hear about your family and friends. But we'll see you next time for Easter. Fellow Roman Catholics, do you ever find yourself middle of a mob and not having anything that you'll need? Well, here is a new mob kit. First thing in the mob kit are 3 different types of knives. For any type of person, big or small, you'll be able to kill them all. And if you need to kill someone from a farther distance, here are a couple of oranges. And when you're feeling fatigued, here are some pain pills. And you ever look down and find a small wound? Here's some band-aids, cover that up. And that's your mob kit.
Alright, so for the massacre, King Charles, who is Catherine de' Medici's son, ordered the French to kill the Protestant leaders and in Paris. So that resulted in massive killings of the Protestant leaders, which has caused uprising of the Protestants because, you know, that's not cool to them. You know, they were feeling pretty dumb because because they saw like what Catherine was planning. So on August 24th, 1572, large groups of Catholics created mobs to massacre the Protestants, and the next morning Charles tried to stop the killings, but because there were so many people and so many people were getting killed at once and it was just spreading, it spread further into different parts of France and into the continuing months of October, and by the end of the season of the massacre, over 70,000 Protestants were killed. Catherine went to any lengths to keep her family monarchy, the Valois, on the throne at all costs. So nothing was going to get in her way, and she didn't care who she stepped on to continue to be on top. And without Catherine, it is likely that her sons wouldn't be royalty because they weren't as bright as she was, and she really knew like what she was doing as far as how far she would go to keep her royalty. And on September 29th, Navarre knelt to the altar as a Roman Catholic and converted to not be killed. And all of Catherine's principles are very connected to the Machiavelli principles, which is pretty evil. So overall, Catherine was crazy, and the Protestants, they suffered a great deal, and they really didn't win. Machiavelli's principles, man, they get ya.